The Nigerian Senate has officially directed the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, to investigate false reports circulating on social media that claim Senate President Godswill Akpabio collapsed and was hospitalized, with some extreme versions even alleging his death. This decision came during a plenary session held on Tuesday, and it represents a significant move by the upper legislative chamber to tackle what they consider dangerous misinformation that threatens the credibility of national leadership. The matter was brought to the floor through a point of order raised by Senator Titus Zam, who represents Benue Northwest Senatorial District under the All Progressive Congress. Senator Zam expressed serious concern about the reports that have been spreading across various platforms over the past 48 hours, describing them as alarming and completely unacceptable. According to him, these false narratives claim that the Senate President, who holds the position of the nation's number 3 citizen, suffered a health emergency and was rushed to a hospital in London. Some versions of the story went even further, falsely claiming that Akpabio had actually died, creating unnecessary panic and confusion among Nigerians both at home and in the diaspora. Senator Zam was very clear in his position that such misinformation should not be taken lightly, and he urged his colleagues to ensure that those responsible for spreading these falsehoods are not only identified but also prosecuted according to the law. He emphasized that accountability is crucial in deterring others from engaging in similar acts of spreading fake news about public officials, especially those in high positions of authority. The senator's argument centered on the principle that the integrity of national institutions must be protected from deliberate attempts to undermine public confidence through fabricated stories. The Senate also called on the Director General of the Department of State Services, Oluwatosin Adeola Ajayi, to work alongside the National Security Advisor in tracing the origin of these reports and determining the intent behind their circulation. This collaborative approach shows that the Senate is treating this matter with the seriousness it deserves, recognizing that the spread of such information could have deeper implications beyond just social media gossip. By involving both the NSA and the DSS, the Senate is essentially deploying the full weight of the nation's security apparatus to get to the bottom of who started these rumors and what their motives might have been. When it was his turn to respond during the session, Senate President Akpabio himself acknowledged the growing challenge of regulating content on social media platforms, particularly when it comes to stories about politicians and public figures. He used the phrase "garbage in, garbage out" to describe the nature of much of what gets published online, highlighting the difficulty authorities face in preventing people from writing and sharing unverified or completely fabricated information. Akpabio noted that it has become increasingly difficult to control what gets published, especially in an era where anyone with a smartphone and internet connection can become a content creator and reach thousands or even millions of people within minutes. Despite his acknowledgement of these challenges, Akpabio still sought clarity from his fellow senators on whether it was indeed the wish of the chamber to formally refer the matter to the National Security Advisor and the Department of State Services for investigation. When the motion was put to a voice vote, it received overwhelming support from the senators present, indicating that there is broad consensus within the upper legislative chamber that this issue requires serious attention and action. The rumors about Akpabio's health have been circulating for over a week now, with various claims suggesting he was critically ill, that he collapsed in a London hospital, that he was admitted to an intensive care unit, and in the most extreme versions, that he had passed away. One of the sources that amplified these rumors was a Nigeria United States-based blogger named Adeola Firehorn, who posted on Instagram urging Nigerians to pray for the Senate President, describing him as critically ill in London. The post referenced images of Akpabio using a walking stick and made reference to an alleged incident during his birthday celebration, though reports indicate this alleged incident was said to have occurred 2 years ago, not recently. If you are enjoying this breakdown of what is really happening with this story and you want to stay informed about the latest political developments in Nigeria, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss any updates. We are committed to bringing you accurate information and helping you understand the full context behind the headlines you see online. Akpabio's media aide, Kenny Okologu, has been very vocal in dismissing all these reports, describing them as completely false and deliberately misleading. According to sources close to the Senate president, he has been carrying out his official duties without any interruption and has not suffered any health emergency as claimed in these viral reports. The question many Nigerians are now asking is why anyone would want to spread such damaging falsehoods about a sitting Senate president, and this is precisely what the investigation by the NSA and DSS is expected to uncover. During the plenary session, Akpabio also drew comparisons to similar situations in the past, where prominent Nigerian leaders were falsely reported dead while they were actually attending a Christmas carol service. He specifically mentioned former head of state, General Yakubu Gowon, who was once rumored to have died while he was actually attending a Christmas carol service. Akpabio also referenced an instance where the burial ceremony of a prominent business tycoon was shown online when the person was not actually dead. These examples were used to illustrate that this is not the first time such false death reports have circulated about Nigerian leaders, and unfortunately, it probably won't be the last given the nature of social media and the speed at which misinformation spreads. This is actually not the first time the Senate president has been the subject of death rumors. In August of this year, there were similar speculations suggesting that Akpabio was indisposed and hospitalized following a brief vacation in London. However, upon his return to Nigeria, the Senate president personally dispelled those rumors about his health, demonstrating that he was fit and well. The fact that similar rumors have resurfaced just a few months later suggests that there might be a pattern or perhaps even a coordinated effort by certain individuals or groups to undermine public confidence in his leadership. The Senate's decision to involve security agencies in investigating this matter sends a strong message that the spread of fake news about public officials will no longer be tolerated without consequences. The investigation will likely involve digital forensics to trace the origin of the posts, identify the original sources, and understand the chain of how the information spread across different platforms. Security experts will also examine whether there are any patterns that suggest coordination or whether this was simply a case of one false post going viral and being amplified by others without verification. What makes this situation particularly concerning is the potential impact such rumors can have on national stability and public confidence in democratic institutions. When false information about the health or death of a high-ranking official, like the Senate president, circulates widely, it can create unnecessary panic, affect market confidence, and raise questions about the stability of government. This is especially true in a country like Nigeria, where information gaps often exist and many citizens rely heavily on social media for their news, sometimes without verifying the authenticity of what they read and share. The broader implications of this investigation extend beyond just one individual or one incident. If successful, it could set a precedent for how Nigerian authorities handle the spread of fake news about public officials in the future. It could lead to clearer guidelines on what constitutes punishable offense when it comes to fake news, and it might encourage social media platforms to be more proactive in flagging and removing content that has been verified as false. For now, the focus remains on getting to the truth about who started these particular rumors about Senate President Akpabio and what their motives were. The National Security Advisor and the Department of State Services have been given their marching orders, and Nigerians will be watching closely to see what the investigation reveals. Will it uncover a coordinated disinformation campaign, or will it simply trace back to one viral post that went out of control? Only time will tell. But what is certain is that the Senate has made it clear they are not taking this matter lightly. What do you think about this development? Do you believe the Senate is right to involve security agencies in investigating these rumors, or do you think this sets a worrying precedent for freedom of expression online? Should there be stricter penalties for people who spread false information about public officials, or would that give too much power to those in authority?
These are important questions that every Nigerian needs to think about as we navigate the complex relationship between social media, freedom of speech, and the need to combat misinformation. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below and let us know where you stand on this issue. And if you found this video helpful in understanding what is really happening with this story, please share it with your friends and family so they too can be properly informed.